Bro, who could be messaging me at this time? It's so early in the morning. Alright, whatever. Let's just get this over with. Let me see who it is. A new Elsword raid. Really? What does this even have to do with me, man? Whatever. What else is he saying? Okay, so Elsword has gone through a few different changes since the last time I played. I had to take a bit of a hiatus due to all the finals and stuff that had been going on, but I am back in full swing. With the new Dumaporia raid coming out, a lot of new people are coming into the game and eyes are being put onto Elsword again. With the mechanic changes going on now and the events going on as well, it is the best time to keep putting people onto the Lithia agenda. In light of the player surge that'll come from all the new stuff, let me show you how to have some real fun. For starters, go to character select, pick Lithia, and go down, pick Mischief. Let's talk Achlys in her first path. So, the first path that you unlock in the line is Pathfinder. Upon reaching the first class, you get some skills that are really good for clearing. She doesn't really get too much else besides these skills, so I'll just real quick talk about them and then move on from there. So the first one that I want to talk about is SMP. It's a really good skill. When you naturally use it, it has a 5% chance to apply bleed, while in DRM, aka Deep Rift Manifestation, it has a 100% chance of applying bleed. So I think both early game and late game, it is a very good move for applying bleed, but later on, obviously, you get the next move that I will talk about, Corpse Pisces. So just to go over Corpse Pisces really quick, it's obviously a stronger version of SMP. It hits more, does more damage, way stronger, way better. It also is an 100% chance to apply bleed while in DRM, so obviously you would want to use that one more often, but early game, why not use both of them? You got the skills, so why not? So really good skill. Since it's something that a lot of the Lithia struggle with, having very balanced skills and all, she can kind of play and feel like a master of none. She needs more, definitely. And of course, lastly, the next skill that I will talk about is Stray Pisces or SP. Stray Pisces. Not much really to say about it, it's just a good clearing skill. That's really it, honestly. It's a good skill. Regardless, let's move on and talk about her other changes that's separate from the other paths. When you get your first job, you also get Manifesting Rift. It can be a real pain in the ass to keep up, and it's impossible to keep up in the early game for whatever reason. It really can make her feel way worse than the other Ilithias in the long run, but basically, here's what it is. You can charge your gemstones like normal, and when your gemstones are maxed out, they glow and you get a timer next to your gemstones. So I'll show that really quick. Obviously, as you can see, my stuff is now glowing, and I have this timer next to it. That's how long I can stay in what's called Deep Rift Manifestation. So I'll put a little bit more information up on the screen about Deep Rift Manifestation and how the skills are all buffed and whatnot. So just gonna wait for it here for a second, but as you can see, it goes to 0 and then it's on cooldown. So obviously, while it's on cooldown, I cannot actually charge any gemstones while this is happening. That is the cooldown of it. I think it's a bit silly, and I don't really like this way of balancing it, since you don't get that much in general, like in terms of reward, but yeah, it's alright, I guess. Oh, and some of your skills change color, and some of your skills get buffed as well. The main takeaway of Deep Rift Manifestation is that while you're in it, your physical damage is turned into magical damage, and during this time, it'll count your gemstones as always fill. So even moves that will consume gemstones won't actually consume gemstones. They will, but it just more so basically is like saying, hey, your gemstones are infinite. Which means that obviously the passive of gemstones that you get, for having one gemstone, like damage reduction, for example, it will always count it, even if you're using gemstone skills, it'll always count it as you're at your max, which of course would be 20% damage reduction. So just for an example. Now that that's out of the way, I'll talk about her niche. To put it simply, her thing is bleed, if you didn't already notice. She applies bleed and a whole lot of it. Just about all of her skills apply bleed. Later down the line, that will be an important thing to remember because her full potential comes out when you can apply bleed to the enemy. I will say, I personally wish that Achilles had higher scaling on her skills, or at the very least, we got another passive or something that gives her more damage. Even if she could have a defense reduction passive on top of her damage increase, I think something small even could make her extremely better. As far as staple boxing skills go, I'd say there's a clear winner between Phenomenal Swim and Cancer. While I will also add that obviously you would want to get all of your buffs first and debuffs, so that would be Elsword, Protrude, Course Pisces, and obviously maintaining all of those skills will maximize their damage output with both applying bleed, damage reduction, and buffing your magical damage. So that's what I would do for a skill rotation, and then just use that into some sort of mix of Phenomenal Swim and Cancel. As part of your Transcendence, you get the passive Dangerous Being, finally giving you a buff to the damage output you have been lacking the entire time until now, to bleeding enemies. I wish they put this passive sooner as an unlock or made it so we get a little bit of a pierce or defense ignore as well when attacking a bleeding enemy, but again, that's just me. Matter of fact, just replace Genesis with Lithia as a whole, make her the L God. Anyways, on to wrapping up. Reaching second job gets you a lot of goodies, some clearing skills and some boxing skills. In my personal preference, I like using Explore from time to time, but the main skills that you want to use are Scientific Name Polypus, Scientific Name Trigon, Phenomenal Swim, and in your Transcendence you get Absorb, which is a meh, alright buffing skill, and Scientific Name Cancer, which is one of your main boxing skills. Lastly, Protrude, a good buffing skill, and one of my personal favorites just in terms of design. If you're in a party, it's a pretty good buff to be using. You could maybe switch it out for something else if you want. I'm not 100% sure, but it's up to you, I guess. Now for some quick tips, I'll just show a bunch of things on the screen that I think should be noted by this point in the game. So I'll let you guys look at that for now, and then I'll come back to it later. Okay, so now finally, you have made it through hell with the worst Lithia in the game, even though she is sadly the coolest one as well. Pour one out. Now that you're master class, you get the passive Perfected Rift. Even though her Perfected Rift isn't so perfect because it still feels a bit awkward to have a cooldown on her gimmick, Deep Rift Manifestation, but it's alright. At least you can spam with her now, so I guess all's right in the world. She still has a cooldown on her Rift, but now spamming her Rift skills after entering into her cooldown makes the cooldown go down. Her other passive, Dangerous Being, when you use Deep Rift or normal Rift skills 3 times, you and your teammates gain cooldown reduction. It's pretty good, but I unfortunately don't have friends. Sad enough. But, on the bright side, it helps us turn our brains off after going through a slow time leveling up with her, going through the cooldowns and whatnot. So in conclusion, Achlys is easily my personal favorite, yet my least favorite Lithia out of them all, besides Mischief. Mischief holds a special place of hate in my heart. Achlys is easily the coolest one in my opinion, and the canon Lithia path. The tons of numbers on the screen dopamine boost her Lithia, and even so, her damage is not that good, her debuff is not that amazing, and she needs to spam heavy. She doesn't have any good mana regeneration, so you gotta chug potions like nobody's business to continue spamming out her skills. But at least she's still fun and all cool, so nobody can take that away from her. Hashtag buff Achlys. Final thoughts, just go play Mischief. I'll catch you later. Bye.